This is Josiah Plays Tyranny. Alright, we've just arrived at the Scarlet Chorus Camp. The Scarlet Chorus Camp. And we're gonna see what we can find here. Whoop, 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 whoop. What do we get? Some cheese. Nobody's gonna use that. There's a deer here, which I can't kill. Scarlet Fury. Quick save. Shivershank. The Shivershank Redemption. And Quiet Shiv. Looks like there's a confrontation going on here. Take another step, I'll pin your foot to the dirt. You talking to me? I don't think she's talking to me.
Graven Ash protects.
I can talk to Shivershank. I can talk to Horde. What if I just run over here? Let's talk to Quiet Shiv.
Just point me in the right direction.
It proves everything! The warrior slams her fists together in a resounding clap. Like, for instance, whether you're fit to lead that flock of children. Behind her, the members of her gang posture with weapons held at the ready. Did you not hear the news of the edict? This is a foolish distraction. We ought to be saving our fight for the enemy. The chorus warrior looks to his gang, giving them a quick nod. What's the problem here? No problem here, Madam Binder. She tosses her blade in the air, catching it with a smile on the way down. Captain Fuckwit here seems he's about to balk from this challenge. Thinks just because he used to run a ship, he's qualified to run a gang. She spits on the ground, looking up with a scowl. So I'm calling him out. Because the way I see it, his warriors are to follow me, not this new blood. Well, if he was a ship captain, he is probably pretty qualified to lead people, I'm just saying. Captain Fuckwit was my father. Fuckwit will do just fine. Nice. It's a good line. Law Classic Josiah Londoner Lower Class. See, I never have any idea what the accents that I try to do actually correlate to in terms of real world. I know that none of the accents I do actually sound really like any real-world accent, but some of them vaguely approximate. Some of them are a mix of more than one accent. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, when I have to do a character, I just try to come up with a voice on the spur of the moment that's different from any voices I've used lately. I have to obviously recycle certain voices through more characters, because I can't come up with hundreds of different voices. I can only come up with maybe 20 different voices, and I recycle them through characters. But I try to come up with voices on the spur of the moment that kind of seem to represent the spirit of the character as I understand them at the time. A lot of times, the voices I come up with aren't very good or appropriate, but then I stick with them anyway, because once I've started using a certain voice, I feel like I shouldn't change it. But then if I have to come back to a character later, a lot of times I forget what kind of voice I gave them before. So then I might give them a totally different voice because I can't remember what voice I did for that character before. So, and of course, if there's already voice acting in the game, I try to make my voice sound as close to that voice acting as I can do. But of course, again, I can't perfectly mimic any professional voice actors, especially not women. So I just do the best I can. Fuckwit will do just fine. The warrior points at the opposing gang. If we have to prove our strength, we'll do so happily. But I'll have your hands and feet removed and the rest of you kept for my own use. Wow, that's pretty grim. The rest of you kept for my own use. That doesn't sound good. I think he's threatening a rape party here. I don't like this. I don't like you cutting off people's hands and feet and then raping them repeatedly. I don't like that, Shivershank. You're not earning your way into my good books. Let's see, I can let them fight it. I can care to wager. I could join the fight. Scarlet Chorus like that. This is foolish. Stop this at once. I gotta stick with the character concept, though. Excuse me? She widens her eyes in shock. This is our way, Fatebinder, and you have no right to stop us. We are not harming anyone outside the chorus. Hey, Killer Kutch. What's up, Killer? Thanks for stopping by. How you doing? This is brand new. This is launch day, in fact. It just came out today. I like it a whole lot. I think people that like this kind of game, like if you liked Pillars of Eternity, or like Baldur's Gate, Planescape, Torment, Icewind Dale, those games back in the day, if you like text-heavy, mechanically dense, isometric RPGs, then I think this game is fantastic and you would love it. If you don't like that kind of game to start with, then this probably wouldn't be for you. Anyway, not harming anyone outside the chorus. I don't know who you are, but I don't need your help. He looks back at this gang. I think we can handle ourselves just fine. Yeah, my voices will sometimes change as I read the dialogue too. Just because I don't know how to keep the accent going and it just drifts into something else. I mean, I've never had any training in how to do voices or anything. I'm just, you know, an amateur person fucking around, basically. I can... Holy shit! I can just roll up and cut somebody's throat here? Why is it Quiet Shiv's throat I can cut and not Shivershank's? Well, it has combat. It has a lot of combat as well. I mean, I haven't gotten to much combat yet because I'm toward the beginning of the game and I go very, very, very slow in these games. But it has good tactical combat as well in a turn-based, not turn-based, but a real-time with pause style. But it's not an action RPG. It's not action kind of combat. Well, let's see. I can give them a lecture. I can let them fight it out. I can do a bet. I can allow to join. I can cut a dude's throat or a woman's throat. Well, the only one of these that fits my character is number 1. Bickering amongst yourselves costs us the war effort as a whole. It does affect others outside the chorus. Tunon likes that. How does Tunon know every single thing I do? Well, that's probably... I mean, he's the damn Archon of Justice, and I'm one of his Fatebinders. I assume he really could know every single thing I do. He might be able to see through my eyes and shit, for all I know. Pretend these guys are selling drugs and just walk away? What? The gang leader spins her knife for a moment, as if her answer balances on its edge. Fine! With her answer, she flicks her knife to the ground and walks away, a spiteful glare cast in your direction. So they didn't like that. Nobody here is all like, hey, thanks, buddy, you're really cool. Well, maybe Shivershank will be if I talk to him. Let's try to talk to Quiet Shiv again. Come back. Piss off!
Let's be off.
Alright, let's talk to Shivershank now. What, did you expect my thanks? Kind of. A little bit. But I guess I'm not going to get it, so you can fuck yourself then. Tunak probably has a biochip installed in you, can force you into Aug Rage. Yeah. It's a reference to anti-drug PSAs. Ah. I didn't catch that reference. If you had said, "From you, Dad! I learned it from watching you!" then I totally would have got that reference. That old commercial was fucking funny. Alright, let's talk to some hordes. The guard places her hands by her belt as you approach, gripping the hilt of a blade. Bestest part is Chorus territory, and you don't look like someone's conscript. You sure you're in the right place? I'm always in the right place. That's some attitude. I am Seraphina, Fatebinder of Tunon. I am here to help vanquish the Oathbreakers. The what breakers? The Oathbreakers? The Oathbreakers. You know, I think I was told to expect somebody, but you seem too ugly to be her. Her lips crumple into a smirk. Why exactly should I let you in? And more importantly, what's this hulking ton of iron doing here? The guard gestures at Barrick with a sneer. Yeah, they can probably fucking smell him. Oh, I can use athletics. I can just walk up and push a lady down like, roar! That doesn't fit my character, though. Ooh, I could piss off Barrick a little bit to gain some favor with the Scarlet Chorus. I kind of like this line, actually, better than this one. No, I'll go with one. He's an allied warrior and my guard. You don't want to make an issue of this. Fine, just come on in. I'm sure the Fury will gut you if you're really a problem. The guard half-heartedly waves you in as she nods to Verse. Okay. Into the camp we go. So as you can see, the camps are quite a bit different. Basically looks like Burning Man up in here. From the other camp. What's up, Scarlet Fury? How does he drop anchor if he can't take his armor off? Soldier nods at you. The Fifth Eye must authorize all prisoner visits. Death Knell. Horde. Uriah Calvendrian guard prisoner. Do they have any Aqua Cola? Oh, like for Mad Max? Yeah. Can't talk to this prisoner. Oh, the Fifth Eye must authorize... Oh, say, I can't talk to any prisoners right now. There's Lantry, though. That's a party member. These arrows are splintered. They're fletching mottled. They were likely pulled from corpses. Horde. Death Knell. Horde. This barrel is full of murky red water. Severed limbs bob under the greasy soup skin. What? Why do they have a barrel full of severed limbs? Fucking... The Scarlet Chorus are some crazy motherfuckers. Battle plans are scribbled over a blood-stained map of the Tiers. Arrows point toward the inner ring of the Vendrian's Well Valley, and small circles are drawn around the Citadel. I got some bracers. And a bronze war mace. Let's see. Skycap. This stuff. What is this? A two-hander? Nobody's going to use that. Cloth bracers. If I use those, I would lose a whole lot of stuff. If she uses those, she would lose a whole lot of stuff. Most of these provisions are withered with rot. There's Salvaros. Oh, pick the lock. Oh, I just discovered a thing over there.
Interesting. Ah, got it.
Got some blood moss. Got a petrified grand staff. Need some subterfuge. Petrified grand staff is simply a better version of the staff I'm using. It's a better, oh, it's control stone rather than vigor. Oh, I don't necessarily want control stone. Skill ups. So I think I'll just sell this. Alright, let's talk to some of these people. Let's talk to Death now. Hey, Aaron Lore, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, Aaron Lore? You don't keep barrels of limbs around? No. You know, I used to when I was younger, but then, you know, I decided it was really awkward to try to explain that when anybody ever came over to the house, and no. Pigs eat humans, humans eat pigs. It's the perfect circle of life. Won't you get a mage companion soon? Yeah, that's this guy right here, Lantry. He doesn't have earth magic, though. Alright, death now. You? As much an accusation as a question, the broad-shouldered woman shakes her head with a scowl. So, you're Tunan's Fatebinder? I was expecting something more impressive. She bows in spite of her misgivings. Death Knell, Scarlet Fury. My time is yours for as long as it amuses me. This game is less than a day old. This game is, at this point, 12 and a half hours old. The fighter effortlessly spins a bronze sword about in her hand. Let's get one thing clear. Stick to your words and law. Leave the fighting to the grown adults. Your corpse would just be a tripping hazard to those of us having a proper bit of carnage sport. We've got enough useless twats dying for our name as it is. All our horde recruits seem good for, of late, is piling in a shit-reeking mound on the battlefield. She hums low to herself and flicks her sword side to side with several deft flicks of her wrist. Keeps up and we'll have to toughen our recruitment standards. Again. I hate when useless twats are dying for my name. Yeah, it's definitely old school style. Now, what do you need? I mean, it's in the style of the old Infinity Engine games. So it's in the style of Pillars of Eternity, which is a brand new, well, a very close to new game, but in the style of an older type of game. What do you need? Look at all these options. Okay, I don't want to say number 3. That doesn't fit my character. What were you expecting? Well, let's see. Death now counts on her fingers, conducting some mental tally. From your deeds during the conquest to how you've helped us since then. Scarlet Chorus Favor 1. I expected a mountain, a warrior of colossal size who could shout a rampart wall into submission. She smiles. But I think you'll do just fine. How has the military life treated you so far? Oh, it's a wonder of wonders. I eat what I want, I shit where I want, and I kill who I want. Sometimes I even combine pleasures. She winks at you. Okay, I don't want to know that you're taking a shit while killing someone. Or taking a shit while eating. Neither of those things are good. You shouldn't be combining shitting with any other activity, in my opinion. We have old school colors now, yes. These are some old ass school colors. You don't see colors like this in modern games. No, but the interface, he's talking about the fact that the general interface of the game looks a lot like the old Infinity Engine games. And it does, because it was designed to look a lot like those games. Like with the dialogue interface and everything. He winks at you. My enthusiasm for the work brought me here. A decorated Scarlet Fury veteran. But I'm looking for advancement. If it means killing one of the gang bosses, I'm not above taking a swing at someone bigger than me. They can be bigger than you. Just make sure they don't hit harder than you. Wise words, sister. What can you tell me of the Scarlet Chorus? We are the voices of the rat's glory made manifest. In the chorus, strength rises and the weak feed the soil. Death now smiles, standing tall as she extols the army. Our ways terrify the cowardly and shock the naive, but our traditions exist to offer promise and prestige to those fit to claim it. We abandon all petty rules for one simple law: the strongest must lead. What is your role in the Scarlet Chorus? Death now frowns, her eyes narrowing. Do you not recognize a Scarlet Fury when you see one? We are the warrior spirit of Chorus, scholars of sword and shiv, Scholars of Shiv. Now that's two terms I've never heard put together before. We are the scholars of the Shiv. Of the Shiv! I mean, I'm just imagining what kind of scholarship goes into that. Like, what are the, like, the published dissertations about shivving someone? Death now would probably get along with Barrack because of the shitting. Zelnaga15, how you doing? Good to see you. What's going on? How is this game? Are you enjoying it? I'm enjoying it immensely, but that's because this is the kind of game that I really like. So if people don't like this kind of game, they might not enjoy it. But if you do, this is a fine example of this kind of game. So far. I'm pretty close to the beginning of the game still. Very, very close to the beginning of the game, actually. Color palette. Do you expect that toilet paper makes a good shiv? Yeah, Scholar of Shiv really sounds like something from Mad Max. It totally does. She folds her arms, puffing out her chest. Scholars of the Shiv. In peace, we train those tough enough to endure our lessons, but wise enough to learn from the best. In battle, it is our duty to slay our foes and inspire the horde with our skill and bravery. Death now clicks her tongue, looking aside to the others in the camp with an eye roll. We are fearless vanguard of this confused but glorious rabble. You said something about the horde thinning. Swelling until it's thundering, then crashing and receding. It's been the way of the chorus for as long as I've been in it. She offers a one-shouldered shrug, ambivalent if anything, but more likely just uncaring. Wait, I thought uncaring and ambivalent basically meant the same thing. We take our prisoners alive, give them a chance yet to live, to be reborn into something better. Putting any and every able body to the sword like the disfavored do is nothing but a waste. A conquered enemy is but a new ally. It merely requires the proper coercion. Of course, we do sometimes have the problem of lingering loyalties. Deserters are rarely successful in their escape, but they do try. The Vendrian Guards, strengthened by their numerous blood ties, have been particularly stubborn. So I've a better plan hatched. And what might that be? I'm thinking we redouble our efforts to recruit settlers, focusing on the unaligned and unsuspecting, instead of flushing ourselves to the gills with Oathbreakers. With Oathbreakers, claimed from the battlefield. I completely slipped accent for a second there. How exactly do you plan to convince them? A knife point has sufficed well enough in the past, but you've inspired me to try a more diplomatic approach this day. What do you say, Binder? You might be able to ease them into the idea, and save the lives of their friends and neighbors in the process. Oh, Deathnell is speaking Seraphina's language now with the saving of lives. Ambivalent is neutral due to mixed feelings, implies you care. Oh, okay. I see the difference now. If it means expediting the end to this meandering conflict, so be it. Remote settlement now unlocked on the world map, so we've got another side quest zone. The Fury howls a satisfied laugh and smacks you dead on the back. My methods are surefire, you'll see. I'll mark the settlement on your map. She grins, biting her bottom lip bloodied. I can't wait to see the outcome of your efforts. Farewell. Alright, so we got another quest, the Way of the Horde. The Scarlet Chorus Horde depend on recruitment to increase their numbers. However, due to the casualties and lack of prisoners in battle, their numbers have begun to thin. Deathnell, the Scarlet Fury, has a new tactic she would like to test out if you're willing to participate. Deathnell said that a gang of Horde are raiding a remote settlement on the western side of the valley. Head there and link up with the Chorus forces. Another side quest. Reputation. Why is this lit up? Oh, because of Ebb. Ooh, do I actually have this ability? Oh, only if Ebb's in my party. Taratus' Embrace. Ab and the party are lifted into the sky. Ab then radiates moonlight, healing allies and harming enemies. That sounds like a cool ability. Fatebinder empowers Ebb, lifting her into the air. She is then surrounded by moonlight. Using her magic, Ebb levitates nearby party members as well, then begins pulsing waves of moonlight over the area. Enemies take arcane damage and the party is healed by the waves. That's badass. Party members that are suspended cannot be attacked by melee attacks, move, be knocked prone, or stunned. That is sweet. Allegedly the last member of the School of Tides, a mage guild specializing in magic of the moon and seas, a seasoned traveler and arcane scholar prior to the war, but not a scholar of the Shiv. Ab has devoted her days to fighting Kairos' occupation of the Tears. Tunon. Starting to develop some favor with him. The Archon of Justice and loyal servant of Kairos the Overlord. Leader of the Fatebinders, Tunon's powers are feared by other Archons, though none will provide details. I like the idea that nobody actually knows what Tunon can do. And just by reputation alone, he's got everybody scared of him. Even though nobody's like, what can Tunon do? I don't know. But we're not going to fuck with him. Okay, so let's talk to Salvaros here. Doesn't Ab have two B's? Well, the word Ab does. But the name Ab could be spelled any old sort of way. Salvaros. Oh, that guy's got some legit parry. Look at him with his 103 parry. I don't want to try to fight that guy. Hail, Fatebinder of Tunon! The disfavored officer pounds a heavy gauntlet against his chest in a stiff but warm greeting. Were I a betting or a superstitious man, I'd say fortune must favor me today. I am not. But I'm pleased to meet you all the same. Now, what brings you to my little slice of personal damnation, otherwise known as... He spreads his thickly gloved hands wide. This here mud and shit-stinking chorus camp. Well, it's a little more shit-stinking now, because I brought Barrack here. You spell the name as Kurok, but it's fully pronounced Ab. Yeah, there you go. Why are you stationed with the chorus? From the way most of my days go, you'd think I was here to row with blood chanters and scarlet furies. But my post is to represent the disfavored's interests before Fifth Eye and the Scarlet Choruses before Iron Marshal Arenos. Not that I've gotten to do either in so much as the last span. You sound frustrated. I am. He tips his helm back enough to spit at the ground. You try having to fist fuck every Fury who wants to talk to you. Wow. Having to fist fuck every Fury who wants to talk to you. That's evocative right there. That's... okay. Well, yeah, but a lot of times people with names that are words often misspell those words or change the spelling of the word slightly when they make it a name. I mean, there's a lot of names like that. Or maybe it's short for something. Her name could be, you know, Abinia or something, and just short for, you know, Ab short for it. We don't know. And that's after I try to talk them down. It's a Kairos damned mess. You act like it's a punishment to be assigned to this detail. Isn't it? I know I fucked up to get here. Got 3 days in the hole and a nice little promotion to go with my new post. Well, I won't be making the same mistake twice when it comes to the Iron Marshal. He juts his chin toward the distant valley. You want to play this game based on his story? His fist-fucking the Scarlet Fury's story? I should be out there, fighting for Ash's glory, not standing here ready to run back a report should something ever finally fucking happen. What exactly did you do to end up here? Oh, because I have one favor with the disfavored, he'll tell me. Made the grave mistake of suggesting the Iron Marshal wasn't fully utilizing the Scarlet Chorus. Well, here I am, a liaisons officer to a camp of liars and cheats who'd sooner gut me than ask for my aid. Guess she showed me. Yes, but these are scholars of the Shiv here. You fist fucked the Iron Hag? Big mistake. Unique. Wait, is that a real name? Is there somebody named Uneeq? Is that a thing? Because, wow, that's a hell of a name. I wonder how many of these special snowflake names are because the parents specifically wanted to be special snowflakes, and how many of them are because they just didn't know how to spell the fucking word. That's what I want to know.
Our lives are at risk, and even then you can't get along with the chorus.
Begging your pardon, ma'am, but I've never fought a battle where my life wasn't on the line. He shrugs. Kind of the nature of war, isn't it? Which never changes.
Have anything you'd like to report, soldier? Maybe you've noticed something unusual during your time here?
He cants his head to one side, taken aback. What about the chorus isn't unusual? The army itself is a strange, malnourished beast. But no, the screamers seem mostly in order, ma'am. And I haven't been spying, if that's what you're implying, ma'am. Still as a post, he studies you sharply, scarcely appearing to breathe. Of course, even if I was, it'd be damn near impossible to learn anything from this shit sty. I love it when they make any reference to shit, because there's been a lot of references to shit in this game. Francesca with an H? Yeah. That's no bueno. Fifth Eye and those damn Furies don't even loop me in enough for me to do my detail, and it's not for lack of trying on my part. I can ask what he means, and the Scarlet Chorus don't like it. Right, because you seem so easy to work with. He guffaws, loud and amused. Aren't I? Iron Marshal always said I was too soft when it came to incomers on account of me being such a good-natured fellow. His favorite kind of liked that a little bit. It's a shit-filled game. It is. Okay, just to break this down for you. One of my companions in my party, his name is Barrick, and he's got this armor fused all over his body that he can never take off. So he's basically wearing a full suit of armor that covers his whole body, and he can never take it off. So he reeks of shit and piss, because every time he shits and pisses, it's just like in there between him and his armor, and he can't wash it away or clean his ass or anything. So he just walks around reeking like shit. That's one of my party members. That's the kind of game this is. He's a good-natured fellow. I could just gain more favor. In fact, you should tell Death Knell that. Maybe she'll stop hiding troop movements from me or passing me enemy intelligence she thinks will get me killed.
I will.
Maybe I will tell Death Knell that. Maybe I'll tell Death Knell that shit right now.
Baitbinder?
Death Knell nods in your direction.
Now, what do you need?
Apparently I don't need anything. I need to search this thing right here. Look at that dog. Look at this little creature. Oh, it's a little pig. What is this? It's a dog. It's an interesting looking dog. I want a dog. No one thought to give a small opening. Well, it was not deliberately done. It happened as a result of this magical storm of blades thing that just happened, and he happened to be caught in it, and he happened to survive somehow. It wasn't like it was designed for him to have this armor fused onto him like this. This is Tyranny, you have to be hardcore. Yeah, I have some real fucking edgelords in my group. Oh, I have to talk to Barrick, I forgot. When we traveled here, it would be talking to Barrick time. I do need to have the convo with Barrick. What did I find? Some Rot Spear. Rot Spear is pretty cool. It's worth a lot of money, though, so I think I'll just sell it. Alright, hold on. Before we explore any more of this camp, it's time to have the talk with Barrick. So basically we're going to pretend like I had this talk with him while we were traveling here from the last area. Not just standing here in the middle of the camp, because that would be strange to have this talk in that circumstance. Alright, so let's talk to Barrick. This probably will take a while. With his fucking bullshit Kana voice. Aaron Lord, did you play Pillars of Eternity? Or are you familiar with Pillars of Eternity? Looks like we got ourselves a convo. I see what you did there, Saito. Nice. Nice.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means.
Loyalty 1, fear 0. Placing his weapon to his side, Barrick salutes you. The joints of his armor groan in protest. It's the kind of game that a person would like if they were into D&D, and I know you're into D&D. So it seems like it's a game you would like. Pillars of Eternity, you should look into it. I mean, I don't care if you look into it or not, but I'm just throwing it out there.
What can I do for you?
Well, let's ask him some stuff. Let's discuss some immediate concerns. What is it you have on your mind? What do you think of our circumstances? The edict left little room for confusion. A representative of the Overlord must breach Ascension Hall before Kairos' Day of Swords. And must assume death is the price of failure. We should assist the disfavored in their siege preparations, as only the Legion should take the Well's fortified citadel. I wouldn't wager a wooden ring on the Scarlet Chorus impressing anyone but the Vultures. Man, these guys really hate each other, these two factions. Like, everything that comes out of their mouth is about how shitty the other faction is compared to them. This is like the people in fucking Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Every single person wants to talk about Augs. Like, that's the topic of conversation always. In this game, every single topic of conversation is how shitty the other faction is. Alright. Scarlet Court's not going to impress anybody. What are your thoughts on me and my deeds? Think they need to be locked in a community center together? He's literally an edgelord with all those blades. I mean, I don't know if who of you were here when I did the whole conversation with Verse about her backstory and all that stuff, but she is a legit edgelord. She is just all about being edgy as fuck. What are your thoughts on me and my deeds? Any reservations I have aside, your military record speaks for itself. You are Tunon's Fatebinder, and my opinions on the matter don't come into it one way or another. Thanks for not answering the question, asshole. What do you think of our travel companions? I am more accustomed to traveling in the company of soldiers, so I am out of practice judging the worth of civilians and miscreants. Miscreants! He just called Verse. If you had anyone particular in mind, I will give them some thought. I love how, no matter who you have in your party, Barrick is referring to them as miscreants. Yeah, Verse made tents out of slaves. And she was talking about a happy memory from her past, and she was like, this is a pleasant memory. I mean, that's what the narrative said, where she was talking about cutting a farmer's legs off while he watched his fields burn around him. That was a pleasant memory for her. That's her happy thought. What do you think of this? I try not to. She is a force of chaos, an agent of the voices of Nerat. Taking her into our confidence can only lead to ruin. Soap from Southerners Fat. Oh, there's some fucking Fight Club shit. His family also watching her do it, yeah. Yeah, Verse is actually... I mean, she's an absolute psychopath. She talks about how she got started torturing or chopping up the fucking livestock on the family farm. So, classic textbook psychopath, but she is really cool, though, nonetheless. Cool in a Mad Max kind of way. She is a scholar of the Shiv, for reals. And yet she is a capable fighter.
For the time being, I am confident that you can trust her to serve your interests, and rely on her skills on the battlefield. She may even offer some useful perspective on the war. Now that surprises me. I wasn't expecting him to say anything that nice about Verse. Let us speak of something else. As you like. I'd like to know more about you. I am the line your enemies cannot cross. All other details are meaningless. But I suspect you have some thirst for details, so ask away. Tell me about your name. Beric is a shortening of my northern surname, which has been passed down through the generations since Graven Ash assembled his army. I go by it because I wear it with pride. The proper form, is Barakonin. Not good waifu material, she probably bites. Wait a minute, you're saying bites like that's bad. Beyond his age and association with the General's Legion, the name of Barakonin has no great titles or associations. I hold no claim to a great house or legacy, save for the disfavored. They are all the kin I need. As with all disfavored, I assume you grew up in the Northern Empire. That's right. I grew up in Battle's Rest, then trained at Fort Resolution before they marched me out to support the second cohort. I hope to spend my resting years in Freton shores. Unless, of course, I die in glorious battle, which would be preferable. This fucking guy. Did you seek the trade of war, or did it find you? Both, I suppose. I knew fighting was in my blood, and the disfavored offered me a chance to use my skills to bring peace. Otherwise, I'd have wound up some brigand or an enforcer to a crooked merchant. Beric taps his scabbard, looking away in thought. Or, although he probably doesn't want to admit it, if he hadn't gotten into the disfavored, he might have ended up in the Scarlet Chorus as a natural kind of fighter. You think Ash and his Legion bring peace? That's cute, but it doesn't hold water from where I'm standing, big guy. I've seen them spill as much blood as any chorus gang. You've clearly been too busy sacking villages and stealing crops to notice how a proper army conducts a war. We sow order, not discord. And by order they mean we murder absolutely everyone so there's no one left alive. Obviously there can't be any chaos if it's nothing but corpses. Look at how ordered all of these dead people are. They're being so orderly as they lay there rotting. I can side with Verse, I can side with Beric. I can give them both a lecture. I'm gonna side with Verse. Verse has a point. The disfavored could reconsider their approach. Beric didn't like that. Perhaps you need a few lessons in military strategy then. Battles can be won by hurling troops into the furnace, but war is a labor of love. They probably even arranged the bodies in neat lines. Yeah, so orderly. The disfavored needed recruits in anticipation of the march south. They offered to care for my mother and brother as long as I stayed with the Legion, which is a better guarantee than you'll find anywhere else. That's actually pretty cool. They care for his family. As long as he stays with the... Oh, that's right. We read about that elsewhere. Somewhere else. That's what they do with the disfavored. The people that are... The families of this disfavored get taken care of, but if they get kicked out of the disfavored or whatever, then their families are, like, killed. I think it's sad. I don't remember where I read that. I think it was maybe in one of the backgrounds or something. I was an elite fighter as far as most were concerned, though still green by disfavored standards. Luckily for everyone, my skills improved under the Iron Marshal's rigorous training. Alright, what's the story with your armor?
It is a symbol of Kairos' will, one that I am not likely to forget. I found this armor. Perhaps it would be better to say that it found me during the Edict of Storms.
What happened during the Edict of Storms? When we heard that Kairos would proclaim the edict, we rushed into the field to battle the forces of Stalwart. I was shoulder to shoulder with some of the Legion's most decorated veterans, and my pride blinded me to the danger. See you later, Aaron Lore. Have a good one. Thanks for coming by. Do they at least get medical and dental? Well, they do get medical, in a sense, because they all get the constant healing from Graven Ash. So they actually probably get better medical than any other soldier anywhere in the world. They probably get better medical than real soldiers in our real world. Our march was a hasty one. A cohort of disfavored soldiers vanished in the second year of the war. Among them, the daughter of Graven Ash. Ooh, Graven Ash had a daughter. He has a bad luck with kids, apparently. What about vacation days? Probably not. After a long silence, we learned that she was held in the fortress of Sentinel Stand. Go on. As we surrounded the citadel, I heard the opening peals of thunder, as did the scout I was busy trying to kill. Then the winds hit by it like an avalanche. Many of us begged Kairos for deliverance. What else were we to do? The winds knocked the legs off of our offensive out from under us. All the decorated soldiers I brought to the battle were swept up and dashed to pieces, their armor and bodies mixing with the dirt of a tornado that spun in maddening revolutions. A piece of the citadel wall broke off and nearly crushed my skull. I only remember a few scattered moments from the storm, like the flying bits of bronze and iron cutting my flesh, the severed limbs of fallen soldiers tumbling through the air. You mean people associated with a guy called Graven Ash suffer from misfortune? I know, right? Pretty surprising. Eventually I woke up, thinking myself trapped under rubble. When I rose and felt like I was buckling under my own weight, that's when I realized I was stuck. Right and truly stuck inside this heap of scrap. Yes, but why? How did he survive? How did you survive when everyone fell? That is a mystery to me as well. Maybe we'll solve this mystery through the course of the game. Yeah, there are definitely other armies. They said that the Overlord has many different armies. These are just two of the armies that were sent to the tiers. Because the whole area of the Overlord's Empire is much larger than the area of the tiers. The Overlord's Empire is like the size of Europe and Asia combined, and the tiers is like the size of Spain. That's what they said. So, I mean, you think about it, how much land the Overlord actually controls compared to this little bit of land here, then they must have lots of armies. That is a mystery to me as well. Did Kairos hear my plea for mercy? Did this heap of scrap metal protect me, imprison me, punish me? He rubs the back of his helmet with his gauntleted hand, a pantomime of a gesture his armor prohibits. Oh, you could never scratch if you were him either. Do you know how itchy you would be all the time? Holy shit, that would be horrible. No, we're not going to be stuck in that tiny valley the whole game. I showed you the world map, didn't I? I don't have enough fingers or toes to count the possible reasons, so I try to not dwell on them. We can't see a map of the whole world of Tyranny, like all the other area of the Northern Empire. But this area here... Ooh, even the map looks different at night. It's darker. This whole area here is the tiers. So this whole area is about the size of Spain, they said. This is just the area we're in, this little valley area. But that's only a small area compared to the entire map of the tiers. No, of course we're not going to be stuck in just that tiny area. No, no. I've seen on a stream, they showed the world map when you're playing late in the game, and there are fuck tons of locations on the map later in the game. Like all over, all these places. We get to go to all these different areas, and there's a whole bunch of locations in each one. So it looked pretty cool. Plus there's the Bastard City, which has its own map, which is pretty neat.
Now, the maps themselves are pretty small. The actual size of the maps, to me, seems significantly smaller than the ones in Pillars of Eternity. That's why I think it's going to be shorter, because the actual maps are smaller, and the actual amount of stuff you have to do on a quest or a dungeon are probably shorter. I mean, Pillars of Eternity was fucking huge. That was a huge game. Alright, so let's go back to talking to Barrick some more.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means, what can I do for you?
I'd like to know more about you. The story with
It is
your
a
armor.
symbol of Kairos' will. One that I am not likely to forget.
Hold on, he already said that. So, this is interesting. I just learned a thing that's important. We've already seen that. Wait, can I? I can't get the rep again. Okay. But like this is grayed out. Like, oh, you've already been to this one. But if you notice, it really shouldn't be grayed out because look at all these look at all these ones I haven't done that are inside that nested one. So I have to keep that in mind.
Perhaps
that
it would be better to say that it found
every
me.
so often I need to go back into all of the options, the root level options for the companions to see if there's anything new inside of them. Alright. Looks like pretty solid protection. That would be an understatement. If only it protected me from foolish questions. Really? You're gonna sass me now? Barrick regards you in such a way that you can tell he's rolling his eyes. A forlorn sigh escapes his helmet. See, I don't think Barrick's really an edgelord. I think he's emo. I think he's emo. You hated completely unrelated encounters being packed in maps in the Infinity era games. Like, I've seen some of the little side quest maps, and basically that seems to be the way they do it in this game. You get a side quest. I mean, some side quests take place on the same map as a main quest, but a lot of them just give you a side quest, and you go to its own little map. And that little area is kind of small and quick and doesn't take long to do, and that's your whole side quest off by itself. And as you can see, there's some areas like that already on our map. The smaller ones. See, this bigger one, and there's another bigger one over here that we'll unlock in a minute. They're the ones for the main quests. But these little circles are just for side quests, and those maps are really small. I mean, people that went to them in the streams, it did not take very long to clear those little maps. So dialogue was under a grayed out node. Yeah, so I have to keep that in mind. All right, we'll keep talking.
You look
Barrick.
as if you have something. What can I do for you?
Let's talk about armor.
It is a
still.
symbol of Kairos.
Forlorn sigh escapes his helmet. You're genuinely stuck in there? Haven't tried taking it off? I made attempts in the past. Even had one of the beast haulers pull on the helmet while another pulled on my boots. The men in the phalanx have taken great pleasure in trying to find ways to liberate me. In time, I grew weary of the struggle. Sometimes I fear that removing the armor would be to question Kairos' judgment and risk a more odious curse. Yeah, it could be worse. So maybe Kairos wanted this to happen to him. Maybe he was spared by and protected from the storm by Kairos' own will, or maybe it's just a weird accident or something. Zahua's quest was pretty crazy. Do you handle your own repairs? I try to keep the surface oiled to slow the spreading rust, and I bend the plates from time to time. But repairs? Maintenance? No. If you have any ideas of how to better maintain this situation, I'm open to discussing them. Kairos wanted him to be a human turdsicle? Maybe so. We don't know. The ways and motives of Kairos are completely inscrutable at this point. What happened to Ash's daughter after the edict hit? She was trapped behind the walls of Sentinel's Stand, imprisoned by Kairos' storm as well as the fortress itself. 1,000 soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder could not have endured those winds to rescue her. In other words, we don't know what happened to her. She was imprisoned in the fortress. She could still be alive, or she could have been transformed into something. I bet we'll find out. Because we're definitely going to go to Stalwart, which is now called the Blade Grave after the results of this storm. We'll probably find out. Let's see. No, we've already been through all this. Enough of this. You're making us look foolish before the Fatebinder. May I continue my story, or do you plan on interrupting again? Barrack waits until Verse makes a rude, dismissive wave before continuing. Alright, we've already read that. We've already read that. Alright, so here's a whole bunch of new categories we haven't been to. I think we've exhausted everything in Know More About You at this time. And we will continue our long conversation with Barrack in our next episode. If you're watching the stream, I am not done playing. I'm going to, in fact, play for another 11 hours. Been playing for 13. We're going to do 11 more in the 24-hour stream. If you're watching on YouTube, though, that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Tyranny.